Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Jaya
Shri Guru Jarana
Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Gauravani Pachari Nirvishesha Shuyavadi Pashatari Satari
Vishnu His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Anand Koti Vaishnava Vritti ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Maharaji Gaur Bhakti ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopina Shyam Kul Radha Kul Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shambhavita Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Prem Anande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of our spiritual master. I open my lips to you. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, looking across the ocean with real suffering, and have faith in mercy and Krishna. I only wish to have my consciousness by the words of the angels. Attachment with lotus feet is perfection, fills all time. He is my Lord. He is that His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the morning program here at ISKCON Philadelphia. To invite in our Zoom audience for Srimad Bhagavatam class. Just two announcements real quick before we begin. One is we spoke last week about we're going to begin doing Sankirtan right after the morning program down at the farmers market. But due to the weather, it's raining out there. It's supposed to last throughout most of the day. So we'll cancel that today. But next week, we hope to start it up for the first time and then continue it in weeks going forward. So that'll be roughly 9:30 to 10:30 or 11 o'clock. It's right down the street in Chestnut Hill. Other thing is afterwards, after this, we just need one or two volunteers to help take some of the altar decorations off. They'll hand them off the altar and we'll move them out and just throw some of the and discard of it. So anybody wants to help volunteer do that. You can see Sudha Garanga Prabhu or the Pujaris afterwards. Hare Krishna. Today we have Mother Arcanabhakti. I'm very happy you're back from India. It's great to see you and your family here this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Max Prabhu.
Jaya Radha Madhava Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamuna Tira
నాకు అసలు ఏమో ఎందుకు ఏమి రావడంలే ఆ?
Yashodanandana Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Rama Jaya Prabhu
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 Chapter 2 Divinity and Divine Service, text 19 to 22. So this is the first time I'm doing this format. Please guide me if I'm not doing it properly. So I just read all the translations first, or we do the shloka first?
Usually we give a brief overview and then we go to the shloka.
And then we go to the shloka. Okay. So we cover all the translations, or we
Sure we can.
first? Yeah. Okay. Hmm?
Usually they like read the English of the different translations and then they go back to the
Verse.
We don't read the Sanskrit, just the
So text 19. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thus, text 20, thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. I would like to read the Sanskrit just because it helps me. So if you don't mind, I'll just read the Sanskrit. So text 19. Tadarajastamo bhava kamalobhadayaschaye cheta etair anavidham sthitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Text 20. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Text 21. Bhidyate hridaya grantish, chidyante sarva samshayaha, kshiyante chasya karmani, drishta evatmanishvare. Thus, the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. Text 22. Ato vai kavayo nityam bhaktim paramaya muda vasudeve bhagavati kurvantyatma prasadanim. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namne. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatani. So the verses from text 16 up to text 21 are talking about the various stages of devotional service. Texts 16 to 21 are talking about the various stages of devotional service. Text 17. Shinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridyam Tasto Hyabhadrani Vidunoti Suhritsatam. By hearing, what is the result of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam? Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishiki. Nityam bhagavata sevaya. By regularly means Srila Prabhupada said daily or 24 hours. When we hear Srimad Bhagavatam like this, or when we engage in devotional service like this, what is the result? Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. All the dirty things in the heart are removed. So that's what we read up to now, until yesterday's verse. Today's verse is saying, Tada rajas tamo bhava. What happens when the heart is purified? Prayaha. Prayaha means most of the unwanted dirty things in the heart are removed. What is the result of that? Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobhada yashyaye cheta etair anavidham stitam satve prasidati. So that is the anartha nivritti stage. When the dirty things are removed, that is the anartha nivritti stage. After the anarthas or unwanted things, most of the unwanted things in the heart are removed. The next level is now you become steady in your devotional service. You become fixed in your devotional service. Up until then, you are actually endeavoring to be steady in devotional service. But when most of the unwanted things in the heart are removed, now you become fixed in your devotional service. That's called nishtha. So, tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobhada yashyaye cheta etair anavidham. When you become fixed in devotional service, what are the symptoms? What happens after that? Cheta means your consciousness, your mind. Cheta etair anavidham. Vidham means to pierce. Our consciousness is constantly, in the conditioned state, our consciousness is constantly pierced by the effects of passion and ignorance. What are the effects of passion and ignorance? Lust, anger, greed, illusion. The consciousness is pierced. Our heart is pierced by these. But when you become fixed in devotional service, your heart is not pierced anymore. Your heart is not agitated by these things. Even when you come in contact with the objects that agitate your consciousness, still you will not be agitated. So when you become fixed in devotional service, Nishta, after Nishta, your consciousness is not agitated by things. Why is your consciousness not agitated by these things? Because now you are developing a taste for devotional service. You don't relish these things anymore. These things are not attractive to your heart anymore. Things which were disturbing to your heart before, if you things which you thought were enjoyable, those things seem dry because you are getting a higher taste. You are getting a taste in Krishna consciousness. That is called ruchi. So cheta etair anaviddham, when your heart is not pierced anymore, it is not agitated by these things, is a symptom of the stage of ruchi, where you are actually getting a taste for Krishna consciousness. And then the next stage is sthitam sattve prasidati. When you get a taste for Krishna consciousness, what do? When you like something, that actually grows into attachment, isn't it? You become attached. When you come to the morning program every day, and then you develop a taste for it. And after some time, you actually become attached. If you don't go a day for some reason, one day, then you're very disturbed that you missed it. You develop an attachment. This is called asakti. So, sthitam sattve prasidati. This state of asakti means sthitam, you're fixed. In what? Sattve. Sattva means vishuddha sattva, pure goodness, not material goodness. And this pure goodness is who? It's Krishna. Pure goodness is Krishna. So you become very much attached to Krishna. This is asakti. So that is text 19. Text 20. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Evam prasanna manasa. What happens when you become attached to Krishna? You're always blissful. You're always blissful. Evam prasanna manaso. Why are you blissful? Because now your mind or your heart is completely done with all types of material enjoyment, which we experience through our senses, through our mind in material existence. My heart is done with that now. That stage. So what is the opposite of that? Your heart is done with this enjoyment means now you're getting enjoyment in Krishna. So that is called rati. Rati means you're actually, this is the initial stage of prema or bhava. Bhava or rati is the same. So this evam prasanna manaso. Now why are you always happy? You're not happy because of material sense gratification. Your happiness is transcendental happiness now. After progressing through all these stages, you have come to the stage of rati. Now you're actually enjoying. You're enjoying transcendental happiness. Of course, we are enjoying transcendental happiness from the beginning also, but it is mixed. You're getting this and you're getting that and you're trying to get rid of the material. But at the stage of bhava, no more of anything else. You're actually relishing. You're experiencing Krishna. You begin to experience Krishna. And Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha means this is indicating prema. This is you're entering into the next highest stage, prema. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. What happens in this stage of prema? Vijnanam means experience. It's experience. Jnanam means knowledge. Vijnanam means realized knowledge or experience. So, experience actually starts in bhava itself. We have five senses, right? We smell, we see, we hear, we touch, and we taste. So in bhava, you experience three things of Krishna. You see Krishna, you hear Krishna, and and you smell Krishna. But this is not directly, you're not actually seeing him. This is not Bhagavat Prapti. So ultimate is Bhagavat Prapti. Here, how do you experience Krishna? Just like Dhruva Maharaj, within your heart. You actually hear him in your heart. You see him in your heart. He's there in the heart also. So there is something called vritti formed in the heart. So you actually see Krishna in the heart. You hear Krishna in the heart. You smell Krishna in the heart. This happens in bhava. When you come to prema, not only do you see, hear and smell Krishna, you also taste and touch Krishna. This happens in prema. But all this is still in the heart. It's called spuranam. Spuranam means it's like, how do you explain spuranam? It's an experience in the heart. Spuranam is something like inspiration, but this is not just inspiration. You're actually experiencing him in bhava and prema stages. And this finally leads you to Bhagavat Prapti. Bhagavat Prapti means from within the heart, he actually manifests in front of your eyes. You actually physically see him, touch him. That is the ultimate stage, Bhagavat Prapti. So these are the various stages, starting with Shushrusho Shraddha Dhanasya, right? First of all, you develop Shraddha. Even before developing Shraddha, you actually come in touch with devotees. That's the first one, Mahat Seva. Satam Kripa Mahat Seva. First, somehow or other, you meet some devotee. Some devotee gives you an opportunity, connects you with Krishna consciousness. Maybe gives you some prasadam, or maybe gives you a book, tells you about Krishna. He connects you with Krishna. That is the mercy of that devotee. And from there, your journey begins in devotional service, ultimately leading to Bhagavat Prapti, where you're actually able to touch Krishna, able to see Krishna, talk to Krishna. This is the perfection. So, and the culmination is, one more thing. Text 21 says, Vidyate hridaya granthis chidyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvare. When we first come to Krishna consciousness, or when we first meet with devotees, we have many questions. We have doubts. When we hear Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you get a question, how is Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead? You have some other ideas. How is it possible that some person called Krishna can be the Supreme? This is called asambhavana. Asambhavana means it's impossible. This cannot be. So we have such ideas, opinions in us, doubts. So then by discussing with devotees, by hearing from the scripture, by rendering devotional service, by chanting, gradually these doubts are removed. And then later on, we take up to devotional service and we are progressing all through these different stages. At this highest stage of prema, also there is a doubt. This doubt is not about whether Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead or not, whether I should do, no. There the doubt is, will I ever experience Krishna? Will I actually be able to see Krishna? Will it be possible for me? I'm so fallen. That is the doubt. But as you progress in devotional service, at this stage, even those doubts are removed completely. And drishta evatmanishvare, the Lord actually manifests in front of you. You can actually see him. So this is the explanation or commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, what I have explained so far. And of course, Srila Prabhupada also explains text 21 in the sense that there are different processes. There's karma, jnana, and bhakti. So when it's only by bhakti that one can get the highest knowledge. So what has been explained so far, that is the highest knowledge. Who can get this highest knowledge? By jnana process, you cannot get. Why? Because when you take to Jnana process, you only realize that everything is Brahman. So your knowledge is not complete. You only realize that I'm not this body, I'm spirit, soul, and everything is one. Everything is just that spirit. I'm not able to see the distinction that I am also there and the Supreme Spirit is also there. I am a person and he is a person. All this knowledge is only possible through bhakti. It is not possible through jnana. So that's how Srila Prabhupada explains this purport. That all doubts are removed. Whatever doubts you may have about who is the absolute truth, who is the supreme, all those things will be removed when you practice devotional service. You can see the truth as it is. And finally, text 22 says, Ato vai kavayo nityam, ataha. Ataha means therefore. So this is the conclusion of this whole section. All the various stages of bhakti that we have talked about and the ultimate result of practicing bhakti. This is why, ataha, therefore, kavayo nityam bhaktim paramayamuda vasudeve bhagavati kurvantyatma prasadani. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. So this is the reason why, since time immemorial, all great personalities, exalted personalities, engage in devotional service to Krishna. So that is the overview of these verses. Should I go to text 19 or go on discussion now? Okay. So we'll just do the purport of text 19 quickly. Tada rajas tamo bhava kamalobhadayaschaye cheta etar anavidham sthitam satve prasidati. So tada rajas tamo bhava. Raja means, I'll read the purport, sorry. Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport. Translation. As soon as Shri Radha Sahib Bihari Bhagwan ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Bhagwan ki jai, Gaura Bhagwan ki jai. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, effects of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Purport. A living being in his normal constitutional position is fully satisfied in spiritual bliss. This state of existence is called Brahma Bhuta or Atmanandi, or the state of self-satisfaction. This self-satisfaction is not like the satisfaction of the inactive fool. The inactive fool is in the state of foolish ignorance, whereas the self-satisfied Atmanandi is transcendental to the material state of existence. This stage of perfection is attained as soon as one is fixed in irrevocable devotional service. Devotional service is not inactivity, but the unalloyed activity of the soul. The soul's activity becomes adulterated in contact with matter, and as such, the diseased activities are expressed in the form of lust, desire, hankering, inactivity, foolishness, and sleep. The effect of devotional service becomes manifest by complete elimination of these effects of passion and ignorance. The devotee is fixed at once in the mode of goodness, and he makes further progress to rise to the position of Vasudeva, or the state of unmixed sattva, or Shuddha sattva. Only in this Shuddha sattva state can one always see Krishna eye to eye by dint of pure affection for the Lord. A devotee is always in the mode of unalloyed goodness. Therefore, he harms no one. But the non-devotee, however educated he may be, is always harmful. A devotee is neither foolish nor passionate. The harmful, foolish, and passionate cannot be devotees of the Lord. However, they may advertise themselves as devotees by outward dress. A devotee is always qualified with all the good qualities of God. Quantitatively, such qualifications may be different, but qualitatively, both the Lord and his devotee are one and the same. So the theme for this purport that has been selected is transcending the modes of material nature. Tada rajas tamo bhava. Rajas and tamas are the modes of passion and ignorance. In this material world, there are three modes, three qualities: goodness, ignorance, and passion. So the whole program of the scriptures of the Lord in creation, in this creation, is to elevate the living entities from the modes of ignorance to passion, and then ultimately to goodness. To elevate them from passion and ignorance to goodness. That's the whole program. Okay. Now, this can be done. Training is required in order to elevate someone from the lower modes to the higher modes. Training is essential. Srila Prabhupada gives example that even cats and dogs are trained, right? You cannot pass stool here, and your food is kept there. That's where you go and eat. That's where you go and sleep, right? So on and so forth. If dogs and animals can be trained, can't human beings be trained? Yes, certainly they can be. They should be trained, and they need that training to be elevated from the lower modes to the mode of goodness. So there is two types of training, Srila Prabhupada says. One type of training is, what's that verse? Brahmacharyam. You have to follow celibacy and shamena damena cha. What's that verse called? Tapasa brahmacharyena shamena damena cha tyage. Yes, thank you. That's the verse. So by brahmacharyam, tapasa, by penance, by performing austerities. By brahmacharya means celibacy, abstaining from sex, brahmacharya. And shamena, controlling the senses, damena, controlling the mind, tyagena, giving up your wealth by giving it in charity, so on and so forth. This is the long process of training, of elevating someone from the mode of ignorance to the mode of goodness. This is the Vedic system, or even what you call Varnashram system. It's about elevating someone from the mode of ignorance to the mode of goodness. So Srila Prabhupada gives the example. He gives two examples. One is, if you want to go to the top floor, let's say there are 100 stairs. So you go step by step, you climb, and ultimately you will reach the top floor. But it takes time. But the other way is you just take the elevator and very quickly you just go to the top floor. So this path, tapasa, brahmacharyena, shamena, damena, tyagena, this path is going step by step to ultimately come to the mode of goodness. Whereas the quick process is Shinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantasto Bhadrani Vidunoti Sudritsatam. By hearing the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, simply by hearing, you can be elevated from the mode of ignorance to the mode of goodness. Immediately, Srila Prabhupada says, immediately you can be elevated to the mode of goodness. And then you don't stop there. You can actually transcend the mode of goodness and come to the stage of Shuddha Sattva. So, how do you know that you are in the mode of goodness? What are the symptoms of the mode of goodness? Kama lobhadayaschaye cheta etair anavidham. So, kama means lust, lobha means greed. Everyone in this world, this whole world is driven by lust and greed. So, first of all, we are greedy. We want more and more and more of everything. How much ever you get, first you have a goal, right? I want this much. And when you get that, then you think, this is not enough. I want more, isn't it? And more and more and more. And for that you fight. And when you get it, then you don't know how to spend it, how to use it. So what do? You engage in lust. You try to enjoy it. And in this way, people are spending their time in this material world. So this is the symptom of one in the modes of passion and ignorance. So someone in the mode of goodness, he will not be affected by lust and greed. So if I'm actually practicing devotional service, if I'm properly hearing and chanting, Srila Prabhupada says, you can test yourself. You can test yourself. Am I in the mode of goodness or passion? How much have I conquered these two qualities, greed and lust? You can see for yourself. And if you have not, means you're still there. You have not transcended. This is the test. We can test for ourselves. So, yeah. And in the purport, there's one more point. Spiritual activity, yeah. So, the natural condition of the spirit soul is to be fully satisfied in spiritual bliss. This is called Brahma Bhuta stage. But Brahma Bhuta stage, generally, who talks about Brahma Bhuta stage and Brahman? The Gyanis, isn't it? What is our understanding of someone who has realized Brahman? Right? So no activity. You just... But that's not the condition of the spirit soul. The spirit soul is active. Only it does different activities on different levels of consciousness. So when you're on bodily consciousness, your activities are done, they're called karma. Activities that you do with your senses, with your mind, and with your speech. When you do this with the consciousness that I am this body, that is called karma. And activities which you do, again with your body, mind, and speech, with the consciousness that I'm a spirit soul, that's called jnana. Spirit soul means what? I'm not this body, I am Brahman. That is understand, that is spiritual understanding. So with that consciousness, whatever activities you do, that is called jnana. Then what is bhakti? What is bhakti? Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam. Shilanam means activity. Cheshta rupa, shilanam is activity. You're doing activities with your body, mind, and words, but your consciousness is, I'm a servant of the Supreme Lord. So when all activities that we do with the consciousness that I'm a servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord, that is bhakti. So at no stage is the spirit soul inactive. If somebody is thinking that now I am self-realized, so therefore I don't have any activity to do, he's actually in illusion. It's not that you don't have any activity, means you don't have to do any activity on the bodily platform, or maybe on the mental platform, or on the soul platform. But the spirit soul is a servant. Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. He is eternally a servant of Krishna. So when you realize your actual position, you will be active like anything. 24/7 you will be active in devotional service to Krishna. So somebody, Prabhupada says, like a cat or a dog is sitting in one place not doing anything. That is not Brahmanandi stage, right? Or Atmanandi stage. That is ignorance, mode of ignorance. You are lazy, you like to sleep, you don't like to do anything. That is not spiritual advancement. That is mode of ignorance. So we should know what is the difference between ignorance and transcendence. The soul's, but this activity of the soul on the soul level, on the, as a servant of Krishna, it becomes adulterated when it comes in contact with these modes, passion and ignorance. That has to be purified. So we discussed that already, how one has to be elevated once again to Shuddha Sattva stage. And the last paragraph says, a devotee is not harmful. A devotee is not harmful. Whereas a non-devotee, however qualified he may be, he is harmful, he is passionate, he is foolish. And the example is, some snakes have jewels on their hoods. You must have heard, you may not have seen, but we hear of serpents. So just because, wow, this serpent has a jewel on his head, so this must be a good serpent, right? No, it is still a snake. Stay away from the snake. It is harmful. Similarly, however qualified a non-devotee may be, he may be a very erudite scholar or from an aristocratic family or the president or whoever he may be. If he is not a devotee of the Lord, he's harmful. He's harmful. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna. If you're not a devotee of the Lord, how can you have any good qualities? That is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, a devotee is always qualified with all the good qualities of God, and we can look into ourselves and see to what extent I'm a devotee, how many good qualities I have, how many qualities have I developed. To that extent, I'm actually becoming a devotee. And if I still have, I have so many, so I know I have long ways to go. So quantitatively, such qualifications may be different comparing with Krishna. We are all tiny parts and parcels of Krishna. We have the qualities of Krishna, but in small quantity. Quantitatively, such qualifications may be different, but qualitatively, both the Lord and his devotee are one and the same. So I will stop if there's any questions or discussions. Yes, Prabhu.
You were speaking about how self-analysis is required to see. You were talking about analyzing oneself to see what qualities are developing, to see that we're progressing beyond the modes of nature to goodness. Qualities. On the other hand, then you see even great devotees like Krishna Goswami, who says, I'm examining myself and finding verse below that, and Jagannath, very intense. So how can you put those two be so advanced and seem so level?
Yeah, he sees himself in that way, but his activities, you can see, he will not be actually engaging in those activities. Of course, that's the natural humility. The more a devotee advances, the more he thinks I'm actually not a devotee. So that's there. It's explained in two ways, because we see in all our Acharya's songs and writing, we see, especially in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs. So I once heard from my spiritual master about the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Why is it, how is it that somebody who's experiencing such high levels of, they are Nitya Siddha devotees, eternal associates of Krishna, how can they say, I'm so lusty, I'm so materialistic? How is it possible? So one thing is, this humility itself is a sign of advancement. It is not possible for somebody who is materialistic to have this type of humility. So that itself is one quality. Someone who is genuinely feeling, like Sanatan Goswami, he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said, I'm so low, I'm so fallen, I don't even know. People call me a great Pandit. I don't even know who I am. I'm this type of a Pandit. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard this, he said, stop this humility, your humility is breaking my heart. So that humility is actually a sign of an advanced devotee. First thing. Second thing is they come here to set example for all of us. So by speaking like this, they're actually showing us our position. This is really our position. That, you know, we are lusty and we are materialistic. So when they write songs like this, it's really applicable to us. We are in that condition. So these are the 2 points. I don't know if I addressed the question.
You had mentioned there were two examples of Prabhupada gave, but it was one.
Yes, the other one was fog. Thank you. So Prabhupada says that, you know, when there is fog, you can't even see the person, you know, one arm away from you, you won't be able to see the person. And therefore, it's very important that, you know, you adopt various processes to deal with fog. When you're driving or you're walking in fog, you know, you have some lights or whatever, different things. So that's one thing. You can adopt different steps to deal with fog. But then when there is sunshine, when the sun rises, immediately the fog is dissipated. So the sun's rising is like hearing, Shinvatam Sakatha Krishna. And all the other methods we adopt to deal with fog is like the step-by-step process of elevating. That was the other example.
There's another example we gave also. On this verse, Prabhupada mentioned, he said there's the goldsmith method and the blacksmith method.
Okay, yeah.
So the goldsmith takes a little hand and sticks it. He's called it stupid.
Right.
The goldsmith, he heats up the blacksmith heats up the iron. Wow!
Right.
One devotional service.
Nice. Yes, sir.
Thank you for the wonderful class. I still don't understand why Suki Goswami says almost all in that verse.
Yeah.
Almost all.
Yes.
Unfavorable things of this life.
Yes, Swami. So, you see, when we begin pure devotional service, we are actually coming with a baggage. We have a lot of, you know, pious credits from past life, impious credits. We are carrying all that. And then we begin our bhajan. So as we start chanting, hearing, gradually these, you know, the karma, the various levels of karmic reactions that we are carrying, they are gradually being removed. At different stages of our progress in bhakti, they are getting removed. So when you reach anartha nivritti stage, and you become fixed in devotional service after that, you come to nishta. That is nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavatsya. No, nishtaya. Bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. You become fixed in devotional service. At that stage, all your pious and impious credits, karma, all that is removed. But you also carry offenses from your past. It's not that you commit offenses only after you come to devotional service. Even before coming to devotional service, you can commit offenses to the holy name. So those offenses are still there in your account. They don't go away so easily. They last all the way up to bhava stage. Only when you come to bhava are even your offenses removed. But still, even in bhava, even though they are removed, it doesn't mean they cannot come back. You can still commit an offense at that stage. So therefore, we have to be careful at every stage about offenses. Other things, sinful and pious reactions, they go away very soon. But the offenses, they take a long time to be cleared. That's why prayesh, most of them are removed.
various kinds of offenses, but if it's offensive to a Vaishnava, how can they be cleared without approaching that Vaishnava?
No, that has to be there. For a Vaishnava, both things are there. Firstly, you have to go and beg that Vaishnava for forgiveness. And even if the Vaishnava forgives, because Vaishnavas are merciful, they forgive. But even if the Vaishnava forgives, the Lord does not forgive easily. So the holy name is the Supreme Lord. He doesn't forgive easily. So it's not that I go and beg forgiveness from the Vaishnava and the Vaishnava said, okay, and I'm relieved. No, I'm not relieved yet. Half of the job is done. The other half is you have to beg forgiveness from the holy name. So chanting with remorse, with great paschatapa, regret, that is essential. And also while chanting, we have to, it's not that, free me from the reaction. No, I'm willing to take the punishment for that. Give me the punishment, but please don't deprive me of bhakti, like that. So both things are there. You have to beg forgiveness from the Lord and from the devotee. And if sometimes it happens that the devotee may not forgive, he's so offended or she's so offended, they may not forgive, then what do? We have to wait. We have to keep chanting, we have to keep praying, and we have to keep feeling, and we have to wait until that Vaishnava will forgive sometime. And sometimes, the one who is generally Vaishnavas forgive, but if somebody is not forgiving, so it's really in the hands of Krishna. From our side, at any point after committing offense, at any point, I cannot say that, I'm always on the low, right? I have to just wait for the mercy to come. And chanting the holy name, begging for forgiveness from the Lord while chanting the holy name is the only way. Yes, Prabhuji.
In this context, Chaturkumara and Devi, that is perfect example. We committed offenses to, Devi committed offenses to Chaturkumara. And when they realized, they asked forgiveness. And Lord Vishnu comes. What you are telling that Krishna does forgive. Here we see, even though Chaturkumara, they were ready to forgive, but Lord Vishnu told you have to say.
Right. Yeah, many lessons in this pastime from different sides, but yeah, thank you. Yes.
You're ready, Steve.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your class. It's very deep. I have a question. His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj explains that humility is not to think of the self as less, but to just think of the self less.
Correct.
But I also understand the necessity to assess where we're at and to beg to rise up. How do we find the balance between not thinking about ourselves too much, not putting ourselves in the center, thinking I'm so low, I'm the most fallen, I'm the worst.
Right.
Not putting that, because that's putting ourselves in the center also. So how to assess where we're at, but not make it our focus, actually just make Krishna our focus, so that we can rise to that.
Right. So your focus should be how to best please Krishna. When you make an offering to Krishna, your focus is how can I make the best offering for Krishna's pleasure. So if I'm going to offer myself to Krishna, I want to offer my best self to Krishna. So if there is some things which are actually spoiling the offering, there's nothing wrong in taking care of that and removing. So you have to remember why you're assessing yourself. What is the reason that you're assessing yourself? You're assessing yourself so that you can improve yourself for the service of Krishna. And of course, there's also that element of accepting, there is patience is also required, right? Yes, I have to get there, but I'm still, that will actually make you humble. Oh, I have to get there, but I'm still here. So yeah, it's.
So then, because a meditation that I've had, because I'm usually very hard on myself. Like I used to think like I need to be a pure devotee right away. I need to like be free from my habits. But then I was told by so many senior devotees, like that I actually am not in control of getting rid of my anartha, and that I need to offer all of myself to Krishna, even that. I should strive to make this offering as nice as possible, but it's not like I'm going to wait to offer myself to Krishna until I'm perfect. It's like by offering myself to Krishna, even my imperfections.
So that brings the humility also. Like Srila Prabhupada says, we never think, when you make an offering to Srila Prabhupada, to Krishna, Prabhupada says, you say, Krishna, everything is yours. The fruits are made by you, the flowers are made by you. I'm simply collecting your things. I'm just trying, please be satisfied, right? So that everything, so you're saying about whatever anarthas I may have, how can I make this offering? Yeah, just be honest and just offer yourself, accepting that I have these flaws, but this is all I have now. Please accept it. And then you'll move forward. Yeah, don't be too hard on yourself. One more thing, once I heard from His Holiness Danveer Maharaj, same thing what Bhakti Tirth Maharaj said, that it's not about how low I am. Yes, I'm low, but don't just stay there, right? You assess yourself, I have these problems, but then a devotee has confidence in Krishna. Krishna is so great. He can lift me up. What is not difficult for Krishna? I am low, it's okay, but He's so wonderful. As soon as you think Krishna is so wonderful, you're not low anymore. You become hopeful. So that's the way to pick yourself up. Hare Krishna. Yes, Dronacharya.
Thinking about the process of self-assessment, and I believe in it, and it's really helpful to do. I also know that if a person is an illusion, and they're assessing themselves, and they evaluate themselves and say, I don't have any problems.
Right.
I'm doing really good.
That's true. Yeah.
So at that point, what good is that assessment?
Yeah. It's not just you. It has to be, you need, right, sadhu, guru, shastra. So you check your assessment with what shastra is saying. Is it in line with that? And then what sadhus are saying. So we definitely need association. So when we are in association of devotees, we will be reminded. I may be thinking I'm so wonderful, but then others will remind, no, you're not. Isn't it? And then you see what's wrong, right? And if it's happening all the time and I'm thinking, everyone is wrong, only I'm right. If, then you have to check all three, right? You have your sadhu, guru, and shastra check. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So it's 9 o'clock. We will end here. Thank you all so much for your kind attention. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai.